No ball. No balls and a strike. Pages breaks his bat. Kirkring got to find it. Throws to the plate. Oh my goodness! He throws it away, and the Dodgers have won. Yeah.
This was an absolutely
my
game.
mic was muted there. Sorry. So there you go. Okay.
Oh, dude, that was this was an absolutely incredible game for the Los Angeles Dodgers and for the Philadelphia Phillies. As you had mentioned, and a huge shout out to the Philadelphia Phillies for this series and putting on an absolute classic. And this game had just about everything, especially from a pitching defensive perspective, all the way down to the crazy finish of the game, to the Dodgers moving on to the National League Championship Series. This was a absolutely massive hurdle that for the past several years, the Dodgers have not had the chance to be able to go through. We have not seen the Dodgers and Phillies match up in a playoff series, and we all knew that at some point that was likely to happen. And at some point, if that was going to happen, this would be an absolute classic of a series. And that is what it turned out to be. This series it had just about everything. The Dodgers had to overcome a lot of hurdles. They had to overcome a lot of different avenues to be able to go out and win this series. They took two in Philadelphia. Somehow were able to find a way when the Phillies were crawling back in this game. And when the Phillies unloaded all of their weapons to go out and try to win this game 4, the Dodgers were able to find somehow a way to win game 4. And what was an brilliant, from a baseball mind, an absolute great baseball game to be able to watch. And your Los Angeles Dodgers are headed back to the NLCS and have a chance to fight to go back to the World Series.
JT Realmuto you could see him visibly pointing. He was screaming to go to first base. He was not even ready to take the play. And, just one of those deals to where you're under pressure and you have a fast runner at third base and this and that. If you don't make the play, the game's over. And even professionals, Austin, we say this all the time, and you're a little bit more analytical than I am, okay? But there are times in the game to where you throw the analytics out, and sometimes all you have to do is put the ball in play, because even professionals will not handle situations correctly, because if you do at least put the ball in play, you give the other team a chance to at least make a mistake, right? Which is what happened here. You hate for it to end that way, but think about the Dodgers winning the way that they won all 3 games, okay? You flipped the scoreboard in game 1, which was like the Dodgers were dead in the water. I'm not going to lie. It was like, okay, well, this is a game the Phillies might run away with. Then Teo flips the scoreboard. That the Phillies had chances to maybe add on to that. They didn't. Teo flips the scoreboard. That was pretty unlikely. And then the wheel play in game 2, that was very unlikely. And then this play right here, I've never seen before. So just think about the 3 different ways the Dodgers won this series. If you replayed that series 100 different times, you couldn't even come close to matching what that was.
Yeah, no, it absolutely crazy finish to the game. And I like the sequence that kind of led up to this moment. So if you remember back, and first off, when they brought in Jesus Luzardo, that was a little bit of a holy cow, they're actually going and utilizing this weapon that they were going to likely need for a game 5. He comes in, pitches a scoreless 10th inning. Then we get to the 11th inning, and it was really the at-bat that Max Muncy was able to get on and extend the game.
No, It was the Tommy Edman at bat.
It was the Tommy Edman at bat, which certainly I cannot overlook in this. But I'm fast forwarding to that because that was a specific matchup that they were keeping in Jesus Luzardo for Max Muncy. Max Muncy got the base hit up the middle. Max Muncy has not played well against left-handed pitchers. He took advantage, got the base hit up the middle. That forced the Phillies to make a decision with two righties coming up, Kike and then Andy Pages as well, and they decided to move off of Jesus Luzardo and go with the righty Kerkering, who Kike Hernandez was able to work that walk. And you could see there was a couple of pitches just out of the zone where there's a lot of hitters that would chase. Earlier in the game, Teoscar Hernandez chased some of those pitches, not to pick on him in particular. He's had a good series throughout of this, but there's a lot of hitters that have chased. Kike Hernandez forced the Dodgers to have the bases loaded. You had some speed that you could utilize off the bench, which means that you were utilizing almost all of the position players that you had available for you with a lot of different skill sets. Justin Dean came in and played a lot defensively in center field. You also had speed at third base, which means that for Kerkering, when he was going through and making that play, the game sped up on him. And he should have thrown to first base. But
he just panicked, man.
He panicked. And with the speed that you had from Ha-Seong Kim coming down the line from third base, that forced him to have to go and rush that throw. He was not able to rush the throw. Kim, even though he missed home plate initially, did go and beat that throw and got away from the catcher. The Dodgers end up moving on. And even though it had been a struggle, an entire struggle, an absolutely massive struggle this series for Andy Pages, he put the ball in play where it mattered, forced the Phillies during a bases loaded situation that was set up by Tommy Edman getting a base hit, by Max Muncy getting a base hit, by Kike Hernandez working a walk, and then Andy Pages just finding a way to be able to put the ball in play. All of those things, add in the speed at third base, caught up, and during a crazy turn of events, it ended up leading to the Dodgers victory. Now, Kerkering has been a really good pitcher this year. And this is one of those plays that I'm sure it's going to be living with him for quite a while. He is a really good pitcher, and he has done really good things for the Philadelphia Phillies. And he was a tough matchup for the Dodgers to be able to go up against. The game just sped up on him, and as a result, the Dodgers going to the National League Championship Series.
I thought as you saw that right there, Ha-Seong Kim turn around. You just saw that on camera there on her. Let me actually throw up the. I'm going to put you on the virtual cam so you can see what I'm throwing up there for them. I actually thought Ha-Seong Kim was going back to celebrate. He was actually going back to touch home plate. Yep. And so whenever you go to the 3 at-bats, 8 pitches for Tommy Edman, finished with a base hit to left field. Max Muncy, you know where his hit went? Up the middle. How many times? I know it gets boring. You hate hearing me say it. First of all, winning games on the margins, right? Mm-hmm. Putting the ball in play, winning baseball plays, and then here's another catchphrase that we use a lot here at Dodgers Dogs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network. Use the big part of the field. That's what Max Muncy did to get his hit, and then he stole second, which was smart because you knew there was going to be defensive indifference at that point. And then here's another part of, I think, why Andy Pages had a good chance. I felt okay about him there. Was that once you got Ha-Seong Kim at third base, even with JT Realmuto, as good as he is, that eliminates any kind of breaking ball in the dirt. You're not going to if you notice the one breaking ball that Kerkering threw there, it was about knee high when it finished, which meant it started above the belt, right? So all Andy had to do was see the pitch up because the ball wasn't going to be in the dirt. Because I'm telling you right there, if you're Dino, you're telling Ha-Seong, hey, if that ball skips away 5 feet or more, you're going. Bye. See ya. We're not leaving this up to Andy Pages, who has looked antsy, who's looked nervous, who had looked jumpy for the entire series. We're not leaving it up to him to get a hit, right? And so anything that scored it away from Realmuto at that point, Kim was going to go, even if it looked like he was going to be out. It's the old, you know how like when you get a base hit, maybe to the outfield, and with 2 outs, the third base coach sends the runner knowing if the defense makes a good play, he's out, but you're taking a chance there. And I'll say this with Andy Pages, okay? Andy, I mean, like his first at bat, he swung at 2 changeups, and both of them were pitcher's pitches. And then not only was he swinging, early in the count, swinging at the wrong pitches, he was coming out of his ass too. I mean, he was just swinging out of his ass. And I say that kind of giggling because that's just what you get from young guys. So if you need an example, and I bitch about this sometimes because I like for the younger guys to get a chance. If you need an example of why the Dodgers love experience so much, right? All you got to do is just go to the 3 at-bats in the 11th inning, completely pro at-bat, 8 pitches from Tommy Edman, completely pro at-bat from Tommy Muncy, Max Muncy. Yeah, no doubt about that. And then the rookie, hey, he put the ball in play, give him credit for that, and then all hell broke loose. So that was an exciting way to end.
It was an exciting way to end. It ended up coming down to Andy Pages, who you had mentioned has struggled this entire series. And there's no doubt about that. And there's going to be question marks as far as him going forward, but I think he plays such an important role as far as his role defensively in the outfield, had the ability to go out there and play center field, and especially with Tommy Edman not really playing a whole lot of center field, I think he's still going to play a crucial role, and I think he still has the ability to be able to get it hot. He ended up being the one that had to put the ball in play in this series. He was able to do that. You look at the rest of the game and the rest of the performances and stuff. Tyler Glasnow was absolutely phenomenal coming for the Los Angeles Dodgers and starting this game. You had the brilliance of Roki Sasaki pitching 3 scoreless innings, starting off with him going through the heart of the Phillies order. That was absolutely insane, phenomenal. You had a lot of, especially early in this game, a lot of great defensive moments from both teams, especially by the Phillies, that took away either base hits or, in the case of, for example, the play with Bryce Harper, or diving play with the ball in play by Mookie Betts, took away a run for the Dodgers. A lot to go on, a lot to like from the Dodgers pitching side as well, because in a 2-1 victory in extra innings, the Dodgers needed to rely and get some scoreless innings, and they were able to find the right people to go out there and pitch some scoreless innings.
You know, that play I just showed you from Max Muncy, let me show you that again, okay? And it's a routine play. I'm not going to lie. This play right here, this is a routine play. But Max is not a routine third baseman. I mean, he's not a great defender, right? No. And that ball, let me show you this one more time. I mean, this ball right here is hit to his left, right? I mean, that's a no doubles positioning. So I'll explain no doubles here in just a second. So he's a no double, so he's deep, and then he kind of gets a weird hop, and then it's a long throw. And then, by the way, it's the first batter of the top of the 10th inning. Yeah. So there was a lot of pressure on that play. There's so many unsung plays that go through out of game. That was one of them. I felt like Max Muncy making that play. And then also the Dodgers, I'm not real big on a no doubles defense there because I would rather take away base hits versus doubles. So give the scouting department credit for being no doubles in that situation. But man, I'll tell you another part here too. Let me get to this. This was, we're going to forget about this right here. I cannot tell you. Watch this take right here on 3-2. Oh, my God. How do you not swing at that pitch? I mean, let me back that up. This is a 3-2 pitch. You're a Hall of Famer. You have the winning run on second base, and you take that pitch? You take that pitch? I mean, get the hell out of here. That is, Mookie Betts is a Hall of Famer, and he's had a lot of great moments. That was a Hall of Fame moment for Mookie because I'm telling you, that pitch right there from Johan Duran that you just saw coming in at 100 miles an hour, you're not going to hit that pitch. I'm going to show it to you again, okay? I'm going to show it to you one more time. I'm going to stop this. I'm going to show this to you one more time. You, coming in almost 100 miles an hour, you are not going to hit that pitch. 101 miles an hour, as a matter of fact. So you're not going to hit it, and I don't know how you didn't swing at it. Being that it was 3-2, you're down 1, bases loaded, you're the dude, right? I mean, you've been a dude your whole life. You're a Hall of Famer. How in the hell do you lay off that pitch to tie the game with everything that happened in this game? How about Justin Dean scores a tying run? How about that? Isn't that incredible? I can't, to the average fan, maybe, okay, if you've been in the coaching or playing industry, at all, you know just how difficult it was to take that pitch and how much respect you have for what he did right there. So do not forget taking that 3-2 pitch from Mookie Betts. That was just absolutely insane. What a great job by him. And Johan Duran, he is everything as advertised, man.
Oh, he's 100% everything that's advertised. That entire inning was absolutely crazy. And it started off with the Dodgers getting a rally going by Alex Call, who I don't think Alex Call got out a single time during the series. I think he reached just either every time or just about every single time he was up at the plate. He started off with the walk, which there was a really close call on that 2-2 pitch to him from Christopher Sanchez, who was absolutely brilliant during this game. He is absolutely phenomenal. Both when you have a combination, which the Phillies going into this game of Christopher Sanchez, and then you get to turn it over to Johan Duran, you're going to win a vast majority of the game, which is why we're so happy, because this Phillies team is really, really good, and the Dodgers were able to find a way to be able to win this game. You had Call get the walk. You had Kike going up and singling. Andy Pages hit the ground ball. It looked kind of like they could have possibly thrown it to second, but they decided to get the sure out at first base. Ohtani intentionally walks. And then you have Mookie Betts going up against Johan Duran, the big closer, the biggest deadline acquisition as far as reliever, arguably the only one that's comparable is Mason Miller.
Incredible.
Yeah, both Mason Miller, Johan Duran are absolutely phenomenal, and you have two of them going up there. And Mookie Betts with the game on the line, with one of the only players that's going out there and actually getting base hits, and to have a moment like that would be absolutely phenomenal. Get a base hit. He takes that insanely close pitch to be able to go up and tie the game and find a way to get a run across. Unbelievable. Vast majority of players.
What I want you to watch right here, watch. Okay, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Justin Dean, baby. Yeah, Justin Dean right there, huh?
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Scoring the tie-in run. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, to have that moment against is possibly, if not the best closer in the game of baseball, in that high leverage moment in a pitch that was this close, to be able to have that is a Hall of Fame moment for Mookie Betts.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So let me show you this. That's all very exciting. The Dodgers have to play better if they want to continue to win, though. Okay, and how many times have you heard Coach Holt and I say, Shohei Ohtani, you got to think left center, man. I'm going to back that up, play that one more time here. Okay, what does this look like to you? Just let me ask you. Let me not go into coach mode. Let me ask you, Austin, what does that look like to you?
He's trying to pull the ball.
Absolutely he is. He's pulling off the ball. You can't hit what you can't see, right? I mean, this is what I've been saying. He is in pull mode, okay?
Yes.
And when it's June 22nd and you're facing, I pick on the Pirates. I'm sorry, Pirates. Okay, let's say Angels, okay? And you're facing no, I don't want to say them because, hell, they swept our ass, right? So one of the crappy teams, the Colorado Rockies. So it's June 22nd, you're facing the Colorado Rockies in Denver, right? And they're pitching down staff because they played 8 games in a row. And the guy you're facing is just about a quad A pitcher. Okay, Shohei Ohtani can swing like that, okay? But when you're facing the best teams, which is what the Dodgers are going to face from here on out, and you're facing Christopher Sanchez and Jesus Luzardo and all these incredible pitchers, if you have a flaw, I'm going to show you this one more time, Austin. If you have a flaw, even if you're Shohei Ohtani and you were the most talented player ever probably to walk the face of the earth, not even watch his butt go in the bucket here. Not even Shohei Ohtani can pull off the ball like that and hit the type of pitching that he is getting ready to see. So I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it very clear. I put it on X about a month ago, and I caught all sorts of garbage from, you're telling Ohtani how to hit. I don't give a rat's ass what you want to think. He can't pull off the ball like that and hit, okay? And plus, when he hits the ball to left center, he actually hits more home runs at a higher rate than when he pulls the ball anyways. So my request coming out of this, Shohei Ohtani, please, okay, do the, who was the, Todd Helton. Todd Helton and his dad, when he would first take BP, his first 25 swings, he tried to hit it in the third base dugout. If I'm Ohtani right now, please work on hitting the ball the other way just to let your timing get a little bit deep so you won't pull off the ball. So the Dodgers just beat the Phillies 2 out of 3. Andy Pages did nothing, right? Freddie Freeman did nothing. Teo Hernandez had some big at-bats, but he just didn't look very good tonight, right? Okay, Shohei Ohtani did nothing. Until tonight, Tommy Edman had done nothing. Okay, Will Smith, he got 1 hit in the entire, so it was a big hit, don't get me wrong, but he's far from being the Will Smith that we've become accustomed to, right? And so this is a Dodgers team that just beat the Phillies 2 out of 3. And by the way, the Phillies had the home field advantage in it, and they're still not even anywhere close to clicking on all cylinders offensively.
No.
That's how good of a roster this is. And if Ohtani stops pulling off the ball, if Max Muncy just gets his timing, which a lot of times when you hit the ball up the middle like that, that's the one that gets your timing back. If Will Smith can just get back in a groove, Teo has more consistent at-bats, there's a way better version of this Dodgers team out there. And that's a scary thing to think of. Very exciting.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Going into this series, and it played out as such, the Phillies had a little bit of an advantage over the Dodgers in the fact that as far as how their roster was constructed and where a lot of these strengths go in matching up specifically with the Dodgers. And when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about specifically the Phillies had a lot of incredibly talented, incredibly productive left-handed starting pitching. And what that did specifically to the Dodgers, and you saw this play out through the entirety of the series, is this neutralized the Dodgers' ability and impact that is somebody like a Max Muncy had. Max Muncy is a significantly worse hitter against lefties than he is against right-handed pitching. And when the Phillies are going out there, and it's each and every single game, it's Christopher Sanchez, then it's Jesus Luzardo, then for bulk innings it's Ranger Suarez, and all of a sudden you have a lot of different guys that are lefties. That matches up really well against this Dodgers lineup. And
what did you just say about Muncy? He's significantly what?
He's significantly worse against left-handed pitching.
Not in the crunch time, baby. Not in crunch time, baby.
He
Not when it matters. That's why you love Max Muncy.
Yes, he absolutely stepped up during that moment when it mattered. But that also is a matchup that works out a little bit better as an advantage over the Dodgers versus somebody like a Shohei Ohtani. Now, that's not excusing what Shohei Ohtani did offensive-wise during the series. He was not good offensive-wise, and there still needs to be things that he needs to fix. What this is to say, though, is going forward, I think there's going to be better matchups that are going to go ahead for the Dodgers, meaning that I think the Phillies and their pitching staff-wise and how they were able to match up and neutralize two of the Dodgers' most explosive, powerful weapons in a postseason environment where home runs are so massive in order to win games. Going forward, it's not going to be as dominant, I don't believe, especially with dominant left-handed starters that the Phillies have going forward, which means that there is or at least should be additional opportunities going forward for guys like Shohei Ohtani and even guy like a Max Muncy, who had some big moments and even had some of his hits against left-handed pitching in this series. I think he's going to have additional moments this series, but I think there obviously is going to be some adjustments that get to be made for the Dodgers. But now you're starting to get into the long series format, 7-game series where this starts to get real and the depth of rosters are going to be tested.
Yeah. You can get through a 5-game and a 3-game series using only your starters as bullpen guys.
Yep.
The Blake Trinans of the world, they're just going to have to put their big boy pants on a pitch. I mean, it just is what it is. And then also, I think it's going to help that Justin Robleski. I hate the way that it happened, but I'm just going to say this from a hardcore perspective. Hey, this is big boy baseball. I hope everything's okay with Tanner Scott.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to say this point blank, and lightning's probably going to strike me because I hope everything's okay with him. I hope this doesn't sound too cruel. But the way it ended up, you got the right guy on the roster. I'm sorry. Justin Robleski should be on the roster instead of Tanner Scott. We said that before the series went on. So you ended up with the correct guy on the roster. So I think Justin Robleski is a guy that you can trust in certain situations moving forward. Okay, Austin, if I were to ask you what is Christopher Sanchez's best pitch, would you hesitate in giving an answer?
No, this is changeup.
Okay, so talk about Andy Pages being antsy. Watch this. Changeup, inner half, right?
Yep.
Okay, here's the next pitch to Andy Pages. This is what I'm talking about him being antsy. Changeup, outer half. So those are the first 2 pitches of an at-bat, right?
Yep.
I mean, let me back this up, okay, right here. That's the first pitch of an at-bat you're going to swing at? I mean, watch this. This is a changeup diving in at you. Really? I mean, that's the first pitch you're going to swing at? And I don't mean that to be sarcastic or to be negative towards Andy. What I'm trying to tell you is that's what you get from rookies. You get guys that are trying to hit 5-run home runs when there's nobody on base, and you end up, and Christopher Sanchez is using all that rookie, that antsiness, that excitement, the jumpiness, I like to call it being jumpy, that Andy Pages has been. against him. And Andy Pages is going to continue. And I've said this, I don't know how many times, Austin. I know that he whenever he first came up, I'm just telling you, his heat maps were wrong, because when he first came up last year and then earlier this year, Andy Pages played with such little confidence that nothing that he did actually was indicative of what Andy Pages actually is. So even if his heat map said, hey, he hits the ball inside, he doesn't hit the ball away, that wasn't accurate. I've been telling you, I don't know how long I've been telling everybody, where his actual weakness is inside, especially anything that moves inside, like a cutter or a changeup that has cut to it. So an experienced pitcher like Christopher Sanchez is going to take that advantage, that extra energy, that adrenaline, that being antsy aspect, and being too over aggressive of Andy Pages, and use it against him. So the Dodgers need to sit him down and say, Andy, okay, we got to relax. We got to chill, right? You're good. We got to get some kind of plan together to where you can start swinging at the right pitches again. Because there's two things that Andy Pages is doing right now that's causing him to fail. One is, you just saw one of them, he's swinging at the wrong pitches.
Yep.
And then number two, he is swinging out of his ass, okay? So we got to correct it. And again, I don't mean that to be negative. You know I love Andy, but we got to get it corrected because we need him to hit the ball.
Yes, they absolutely, if the Dodgers are going to go far past even the NLCS and get to the World Series, I think Andy Pages is going to have to play a big role in that, because with 7-game series, you need contributions from all players on your roster. And Andy Pages, I think, as you had mentioned, has the talent. He has the ability to be able to go ahead and do so. And when he was struggling earlier this year, one of the things that I was kind of rooting for, and you ultimately saw Andy Pages end up having the moment, even if it wasn't the greatest base hit to be able to score the runs, he ended up getting the job done to win the series. But he was really struggling early in the season, and this was very much highlighted in Philadelphia. And when he was in Philadelphia, especially early in the season, he was extremely passive with a lot of things and not swinging at the correct pitches. He then made
an
adjustment
opposite right now. Good point.
And he started and made an adjustment and decided instead, because you look at early in the season, he had a walk percentage that was 13%, but he was striking out 35% of the time, and he wasn't making good contact. He made a specific adjustment to say, you know what, I'm going to be all out aggressive. And it was good at first because he was really good and he was selectively aggressive. And that's when Andy Pages is at his best, is when, not just when he's aggressive, because right now he's aggressive, but he's not swinging at the right pitches. He's just going out there and trying to swing and trying to get out of it as best as he possibly can. When Andy Pages is at his best is when he has aggressiveness on his side, when he is swinging a decent amount, but when it's selectively aggressive and when he's actually getting pitches in a zone or a particular type of pitch that he wants to go out and attack, I think that's when he's at his best. Right now, I think he's just trying to go out there and find it any way that he possibly can. And right now, with as talented as pitchers and with the Phillies only using the guys that they fully go out there and trust, those are the guys that you're matching up with against, and especially with talented pitchers like Christopher Sanchez, especially with a lot of guys that are coming out of the Phillies bullpen and their rotation, they're going to go out there and they're going to have success with a guy who's actually looking up there. So I think there is still a chance that he can turn things around, but that is certainly something to keep an eye out for as we go further in the postseason.
Okay, so now keep in mind, 7.5 feet of extension, a guy that hits 98, 99. Watch the splits. Wow. What I want you to watch is, see how he tunneled. One's a fastball, one is a breaking ball. Watch how they come out of the same tunnel. Same tunnel. See that? They just split. Now watch the difference in splits there. Wow, look at that. That's incredible. That's why Tyler Glasnow, and keep in mind, again, that is 7.5 foot extension. That's 98, 90. That one there was 99 miles an hour. Imagine trying to hit that. So it's all about execute. I kept thinking, hey, Christopher Sanchez is going to keep executing. Tyler Glasnow is very talented. I don't know if he can execute for an entire 6 innings without like walking a leadoff guy, maybe hanging a curveball and giving up 2 or 3 runs. As talented as he is, I say that to say Tyler Glasnow moved to the top of my trust tree tonight. And I said it on the show yesterday, as good as Tyler Glasnow is, as talented as he is, I felt like today was kind of a big step for him in terms of, hey, we know you're good, we know you're talented, but we need to win this game, man. And this is why we brought you over here and traded you for Ryan Pepio and Johnny DeLuca, is to go out and do whatever you have to do to win this game. This was the first time that Tyler Glasnow has been a Dodger to where I went, oh, yes, he's very talented, and now I trust him to execute in the biggest of games. I thought tonight was a huge hurdle mentally for Tyler Glasnow, just to jump into that, yeah, I'm a big-time pitcher, I can pitch in big-time situations.
So you started...
Or am I being too hard on him?
Yeah, so you started off the game with, you got it, and Tyler Glasnow was able to get an out. Then Kyle Schwarber, who obviously in game 3 had a massive bomb and started to really get hot, or you started to feel like, oh, crap. Kyle Schwarber started to get going. He hits that double, ends up getting the second out, then a 4-pitch walk to Alec Boehm. And all of a sudden, you're dealing with 2 runners on, and Tyler Glasnow was able to strike out Brandon Marsh, who Brandon Marsh is a significantly better hitter against right-handed pitching. I think from that moment on, once he established confidence, once he had a couple of guys on and was able to escape that jam, Tyler Glasnow just went absolutely cruising during the game today. 38 swings, 16 swings and misses. That's 42% of the swings ended up being swings and misses for him on the day. He was absolutely brilliant when the Dodgers needed him to be. And any sort of doubts that there were about Tyler Glasnow, I think were shattered during this. He has struggled against the Phillies during this season. You remember back to even earlier this season when he faced against the Phillies in Philadelphia, did not turn out well for a Tyler Glasnow. He was able to shatter that. He has been, you look at the numbers throughout the regular season, and he has been an absolutely phenomenal pitcher. There's a reason why the Dodgers went out and sought after Tyler Glasnow in the Ryan Pepio and Johnny DeLuca trade. It's because of moments like this. And he went out there, proved it during the series, pitched out of relief against the Phillies during that game 1, came in when the Dodgers needed him and stepped up. And it just absolutely phenomenal. 83 pitches, 6 innings of no-run ball during a game where the Dodgers needed him to go out there and perform incredibly well. Tyler Glasnow, now you're talking about you were already talking about 4 phenomenal starters, but now that you have 4 starters that you have all the confidence in the world right now in.
Yeah, and so I'm going to take away the high-riding fastball, that one there. I'm going to take that one away from you. What is the second best pitch that Tyler Glasnow has to be effective with to be Tyler Glasnow for you?
He's got to do stuff with his curveball. He's got to do stuff that breaks down. He's got to have a little bit of command with that.
Okay, so let me play a video for you here.
All right, let's hear it.
Now, I'm going to go through some of the parts of the game you're going to forget because we're going to remember the last inning. We're going to remember the last play. Okay, watch this. Tell me what you see here, Austin. Just everybody in the chat, tell me what you see. I mean, you see, watch Will Smith. Whoop. I mean, come on now. So whenever you're Tyler Glasnow, he has to be able to bury that curveball in the dirt. Yeah. And he has to. That's why Ben Rortvedt has been such a big deal. Because when Tyler Glasnow pitches, he has to have a catcher that blocks the curveball in the dirt because he's got to be able to dive the thing into the dirt. So one of the biggest aspects of this game that will go completely unnoticed and completely unsung, let me throw it back out there again, okay, is this right here, what you're seeing on this video, and that is Will Smith blocking all the curveballs in the dirt for Tyler Glasnow, which let Glasnow just let it rip. And whenever you, as a catcher, allow Tyler Glasnow to get into let it rip mode, he can let it rip as good as anybody. So do not underestimate the job that Will Smith did. Now, I know he let the ball get by him that one late, but hey, he's human, right? Yep. But do not underestimate the job that Tyler Glasnow did. It's not just the balls that he blocked. It's that the fact that he did block them, the amount of confidence that it puts in your pitcher to be able to just let it rip. So you can't overstate the job that Will Smith did at blocking the curveballs in the dirt.
Yep, did what he needed to do in a state where there's question marks, or especially entering this series, question marks about the health of Will Smith. And he's primarily there because of his offensive ability that he's able to provide and because of the work that he's done throughout the years with the Dodgers. He came up, stepped up in big moments, and there was a lot of different plays where both teams, not just the Dodgers, but both teams went out there and made some solid plays defensively to be able to try to help their team go out there and win. And ultimately, it just kept going and going. And it was until one team made a big enough mistake and was able to break through that ended up being the result of the game.
I'm going to give you another sneaky one here, okay? And I think some people will maybe disagree with me on this one. A huge part of this game that I think is going to get lost in the shuffle too. Okay, Emmett Sheehan, the double play ball that he didn't catch, that was rough. This one right here, this was a rough play. There's no doubt about that, okay? No doubt that led to the first run. You had the base hit after that by Castellanos, who, gosh dang, it felt like he was Christian Walker reincarnated, right?
Oh, no.
You just felt like Castellanos, and then late in the game, you felt like he was going to win the game for him. It felt like him or Harrison Bader. It was going to be like one of those two little suckers. We're going to freaking beat the Dodgers. That's just what I kept thinking.
Which makes that Muncy play when he was playing that no doubles look, because Castellanos has been hitting it right over by that situation. So important because, you go back to the rally in game 2. You go back to the hit that he had early. He's been all over the place for the Phillies.
Okay, so that none of that was good. Okay, as far as Emmett Sheehan not catching that ball at first base. Good throw from Mookie Betts. There's no doubt about that. But you know what Emmett Sheehan did after that? Okay, instead of this game, like we saw it with Kerkering, this game can speed up real fast in big moments. But you know what Emmett did? He continued to throw strikes. And so because he continued to throw strikes, he gets a fly ball on a 3-2 count. How about throwing a 3-2 changeup? He's not a rookie, but he's a young pitcher. How about throwing a 3-2 changeup and then throwing that pitch to get Trey Turner out after he had made a big kind of stupid mistake, that mistake right there. So, do not overlook the fact that in that moment, first of all, the Dodgers didn't have anybody else to turn to. They had to have Emmett Sheehan knock down some innings. Yep. It was Emmett Sheehan or bust at that moment in the game. For a guy with as little of experience as he's had, plus he's been hurt all year, that could have sped up on him real fast. He could have started not throwing strikes, trying to overthrow the ball, walking guys, giving up base hits. Next thing you know, instead of 1-0, it's 3-0 or 4-0, and the Dodgers don't end up winning. So the fact that Emmett Sheehan was able to regather his composure, continue to attack the strike zone, throw a 3-2 changeup to get a fly ball, and then get Trey Turner, who won he has a hitting championship in his past, to go do that and hold it at 1, that was a huge part of that game, my opinion.
Part of having success in the postseason, and as you mentioned, this is an underrated aspect of having success in the postseason, is limiting the damage. And what Emmett Sheehan was able to do, as you had mentioned right there, with going out after he gave up the double to Castellanos, ended up getting the fly out to Bryson Stott, and then ended up striking out I believe it was the National League batting champion, and Trey Turner. He's been a phenomenal hitter for the Phillies this entire season. That limited the damage at 1, and that was in the 7th inning. If the Phillies go out there, as you had mentioned, and score, let's say they even score 2 runs or maybe 3 runs, that alters the game plan for the Phillies going forward and perhaps alters the psyche of the Dodgers. One, it puts the Dodgers in a much bigger hole as opposed to a 1-run deficit, in which case the Dodgers just have to put some sort of rally, ended up scoring by the Mookie Betts walk. But that also changes the Phillies' calculus as far as how they utilize their biggest weapon, Yohan Duran. Because if it is a different situation where the Phillies have a much bigger margin, you're thinking about potentially utilizing Duran in a different scenario or perhaps a little bit later, in which case you can slam the door, especially if you utilize him in, let's say, the 8th inning, as opposed to having to utilize him in the 7th inning. I think that changed the scenarios as far as how the Phillies were going to approach that. And so whatever you can do, even when mistakes happen, even when the game kind of goes away and things get a little bit crazy, limiting the damage as best as you possibly can, and each and every step going out there, allowing the game to slow down and doing your job in that particular moment is so important for postseason baseball, because there's a lot of times, and we saw it during Game 3, where game just sped up, and it can, especially when a team gets momentum, it can roll. We also saw that during the Game 4 in the Tigers-Mariners series, where Mariners had a lead, Tigers ended up getting a roll, and that never stopped because of the roll that they were able to go on. To put a stop to that at that moment kept the Dodgers in the game, altered the decision-making that the Phillies had going forward, and forced their hand to use Yohan Duran in that specific moment, and the Dodgers were able to capitalize.
Yeah, they were. Here is another moment that I thought that kind of a couple of moments that made me very, very, very nervous, okay? He made it look very routine, but this play right here, okay, Tommy Edman, Gold Glove second baseman. You kidding me? He had the confidence to glove flip it to first base. I'm like, oh my God, right? I'm thinking about, how do I circle that? How do I get it in my bare hand? How do I flip that to first base? Hey, and if you notice, there's nobody on base right there, right? Let me flip that over. Okay, I mean, he had the confidence to field that ball, watch this, and just flip it to first base. You know how many things can go wrong with that flip right there? And so the difference would be, instead of one out, nobody on, you would have nobody out and the leadoff hitter on, which is in extra innings in the top of the 11th, is a huge swing. So another one of those plays that you're probably going to completely forget. Is it routine? Yes, in the sense that he should have made it. Have I seen that play screwed up 10,000 times, in my lifetime? Absolutely I have, right? Because under pressure, you're dumber than you think when you're under pressure. I always tell people. And I say that to say, hey, whenever you're under pressure, you get dumber than you think. So you know what that tells you, Austin? That tells you that you need to over-prepare. If you're over-prepared, you got to over-prepare, because you're going to get dumber than you think when you're under pressure. So be over-prepared, right? And so I say that to say, yes, routine. Yes, it's a play he should have made. Yes, it is a play that I have seen screwed up a million different times. And if Tommy Edman screws that play up right there, then it's kind of like what the hell? And then it just kind of puts that negative vibe into you. And so I thought that was kind of not one of the biggest plays of the game, but I thought that was somewhat of an unsung play.
A little bit of those underrated plays when the game starts to speed up on you, that you have to slow down and actually be able to execute. And the Dodgers were able to execute today. Tommy Edman has been a really good second baseman throughout his entire career. And the Dodgers are lucky that they have somebody with that ability to be able to be in that moment and be able to make plays like that.
I tell you now, the one time where my heart came through my throat, when Alec Boehm hit that fly ball to center field, when it first came off his bat, okay?
Yeah.
When it first came off his bat, I went, ball game. That's literally what I said. And then, the announcer kind of went, well, it's like, ball game. And then, so what you do right there, I learned this in broadcasting. You don't watch the ball, okay? I'll give you a trick with broadcasters. And this is why sometimes they can be woefully wrong, because sometimes outfielders will kind of play it that way to trick the runners. But if you're a broadcaster, you watch the outfielder. The outfielder will tell you if the ball's out or not. Sometimes you don't have the trajectory. So when it first came off his bat, I went, ball game. That's, because I'm thinking, if the Dodgers are going to freaking lose this game, I'm all emotional. I'm a wreck, right? It just felt like the Phillies were the aggressor all night. It felt like the Dodgers were just kind of dodging bullets, and it just kind of felt like everything was just getting lucky for the Dodgers and unlucky for Philadelphia, and that wasn't going to last forever. And it felt like Alec Boehm or Harrison Bader would be the guy. So when it came off his bat, I went, ball game. But then my trained eye, as far as broadcasting and coaching, the first thing I did was look at Andy Pages. And Andy Pages' body language let me know that the ball was going to stay in the park and that he was going to be able to catch it. So I was like, oh, thank God. But that was a scary 2 or 3 seconds.
It was a scary 2 or 3 seconds right there. That came in the 11th inning with Alex Vesia on the mound. Alec Boehm hit that deep fly ball. Then you had the wild pitch with Harrison Bader up to bat, who has been amazing for the Phillies throughout this entire season. And it was a long battle between Alex Vesia and Harrison Bader, the trade deadline acquisition for the Phillies to be able to help make their outfield as good as it has been of late for the Phillies. Alex Vesia was able to step up in that moment and win that battle. But when Alec Boone hit that fly ball, it was oh crap, what's going on right here? Ended up, once you saw Andy Pages, looked like he had enough room right there, a little bit of a sigh of relief. But just to get through that inning, through that heart of the order for the Phillies was really big for the Dodgers to be able to do that.
Yeah, you know who else was huge? This was not going to go unsung. This is something Dodgers fans will talk about. This is the last video we'll show right here. Roki Sasaki, man. I mean, he had no margin for error whatsoever. He threw 200-mile-an-hour pitches in a row to Trey Turner to get out of the 10th inning. I mean, Roki Sasaki came in. Keep in mind, he was pitching quite bad for Oklahoma City like a month and a half ago, right? Yeah. Okay, like he wasn't getting AAA hitters out a month and a half ago. And he's coming in and facing the Phillies with zero margin for error. If Roki Sasaki comes in and walks the leadoff guy or pulls a pitch with a runner on or whatever and just gives up anything, the Dodgers lose that game. So, I mean, what's interesting is, you know, I bitched and moaned about not getting a guy, you know, at the trade deadline. But to be honest with you, Roki Sasaki went toe-to-toe with Johan Duran tonight. It was an equal task. It was an equal matchup there. Roki Sasaki did just as good as Johan Duran. And once again, the Dodgers front office bet on what they had in-house. And instead of me being right, the guy who has been bitching and moaning about not going and getting Johan Duran, they were proven right by Roki Sasaki because that dude was electric.
Where would the Dodgers be without Roki Sasaki in their bullpen right now?
Wow.
That is a massive question because they would not be where they are right now with Roki Sasaki. And this was something from somebody that very much doubted even a couple weeks, like 2 weeks before the playoffs started, even a week before the playoffs started, the impact that a guy like a Roki Sasaki could have on this playoff roster. A huge, massive credit to the Dodgers organization for finding a way to be able to get the velo back, finding a way to be able to help fix Roki Sasaki and get him back on track to being the talented pitcher that he was. Because when he was pitching for the Dodgers earlier this year, it was not the same as far as what was advertised, as far as the velo, as far as what he was capable of doing. And the impact that he was going to have on this roster very much was of question. And as you had mentioned, there was a lot of question marks as far as the Dodgers trade deadline, as far as going out and getting impact relievers. Well, they had a couple of relievers that were due to come back for the Dodgers at the time of that trade deadline. They were Blake Trinan and they were Tanner Scott. And neither one of them have looked absolutely phenomenal. Tanner Scott is not going to be on the National League Championship Series roster, and Blake Trinan has not been 100% the same as what he has been in the past. But instead, they were able to find something in-house because of the player development, because of the coaching staff that the Dodgers were able to have in-house, and because they were able to unlock the talent and skill set of Roki Sasaki. You combine the incredible stuff that he has with some of the length that he has because he has been a starter in the past. It unlocks so much for the Dodgers, and it cannot be understated. Those 3 innings that Roki Sasaki pitched during the game out of relief, the 8th inning when the top of the lineup was coming in, when even I thought they were going to turn to somebody like an Anthony Banda to combat with a comeback with a Kyle Schwarber and a Bryce Harper to get the lefty on lefty type of matchup. They decided we have all the confidence in the world right now in Roki Sasaki. And if we're going to try to win this series, you know what? We're going to go with the guy that we have the most confidence in. And right now, out of the bullpen, as crazy as this would have sounded a month ago, the guy that they have the most confidence in, and the guy that they should have the most confidence in coming out of the bullpen is Roki Sasaki. He has been absolutely phenomenal.
They've got a lot of confidence in Vesia.
Oh, they got a lot of confidence in Alex Vesia. But you're telling me 3 scoreless innings in a game that is tied when you're going out and throwing him against the heart of the Phillies order? Man, that was such a big moment for him.
Yeah, because, you know, the Dodgers had a chance to win it in the 10th with the top of their lineup. Then they didn't get it done. Then the Phillies had the meat of their lineup coming back up. So once the Dodgers didn't score with Ohtani and everybody at the top of their lineup, you're like, okay, well, that just swung to the Phillies. And so Sasaki had to go right back out there and face the middle of their order. And not only did he get the job done, it was the presentation of the way it looked. I was never nervous. I was like, okay, well, he's got this. I mean, they ain't hitting this son of a bitch. I mean, we're good. We just got to find a way to win, to score 1 run, before we have to take Roki Sasaki out of the game. I didn't get nervous until Roki Sasaki could no longer pitch. That's whenever Roki Sasaki came out, my first thought was, man, I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know who we have. They have Blake Trinan up. We may not win now. At the very least, let's eat about 4 innings from Jesus Luzardo and just nail down the fact that it's a bullpen game for them in Game 5. That's where my mind went.
Yep, that was exactly where a lot of my mind went for them, and especially when the Phillies made that pivot. I believe it was in the 10th inning they made the pivot to go to a Jesus Luzardo. All the innings that Roki Sasaki was able to provide, one, allowed the Dodgers to be able to go out there and win the game, and it also forced the Phillies' hand as far as what they're going to do and limited some of their options, even if the Phillies had come back during this series, because they would have been at least somewhat impacted because they had to go all out and utilize a Jesus Luzardo. And the longer that you're able to go out there and continue to put up zeros, the more opportunities that you give the Dodgers to win this game. Roki Sasaki was absolutely unbelievable for the. It's just. I
did not want to play Game 5, baby. I did not want to play Game 5.
Oh,
did
man.
not. I didn't want to play Game 6 last year in the World Series. I did not want to play Game 5. I don't care if it was going to be a bullpen game.
And that is a testament to the Phillies, because the Phillies are a really, really good club, and their home atmosphere is absolutely phenomenal. You mentioned that would have been an absolute battle between those two. And this game was an absolute battle, an instant classic between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Philadelphia Phillies.
I'm going to give this is a funny story. Doyer for life. Hey, thank you so much for joining. First of all, before we get to his comment, quick comments. Jay made a great point here. I'm going to make it a point. Yeah. He's asking it as a question. I'm going to make it as a point because I think it's a great point. I think a part of getting Alex Call was with the Phillies in mind against their lefties. I mean, look at the night that he had, right? And it's not a fluke that they went and get Alex Call, and he's the one guy that has success against their lefties. So I think a big part of getting Alex Call, obviously he was a good player. They felt like they needed another player to play outfield. That's the biggest part of it. But I do think, at least in the equation and in the conversations when they were talking about getting Alex Call, I think at least somebody said, hey, yeah, man, if we ever face the Phillies in the playoffs with all the lefties they got, he'd be a pretty good option to turn to. I think that at least came up in the conversation.
I have no doubt about that. That is a really good point, and that's a testament to the homework that the Dodgers did with Alex Call. I think a lot of his he goes underappreciated for how valuable he can be for a roster, not just with his flexibility that he can be able to provide defensively, but a lot of value that he can have specifically with matchups against left-handed pitching. And he did a phenomenal job stepping in to combat the Phillies lefty heavy rotation, especially with the experience that he had when he was with the Washington Nationals, seeing the Phillies a lot. He got a lot of exposure to a lot of these different guys, especially with the starting pitching of the Philadelphia Phillies, with the Phillies. And he stepped up in this moment, a career guy that is at the very least going to be a league average hitter, slightly above league average against left-handed pitching, but with a lot of exposure and a lot of experience, and especially with somebody who has a little bit more of a patient approach at the plate, who seemingly is not going to jump out of his shoes during these big moments. He went up there and stepped up in big time moments during the series and proved a lot. And it's a testament to the Dodgers organization for finding somebody that nobody had on their radar. Nobody had predicted the Dodgers to go out there and target. And he was the guy that stepped up in the big moments for him. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a comment here. Yeah, Jay saying he's not giving the front office credit for Sasaki. That's not my point that they thought he was going to be. My point is they felt like they had enough guys that at least somebody would step up, that were talented enough. Maybe what they really thought was going to happen is Blake Trinan or Tanner Scott was going to figure it out. But what you do is you compile so much talent and you kind of put them all together, keep giving them all chances, and then you're betting on the fact that we have so much talent here, not all of them are going to fall on their face. Somebody's going to rise to the top, and that somebody was Roki Sasaki. So that's where I'm at on that. So we have Doyer for life. First of all, Doyer for life is stuck in lot 1. So roll down your window and say, hell yeah, Dodgers. Let's give one of those. And so that brings me to one of my funny stories here. Well, it's funny to me. Sometimes my wife thinks I'm funny. Sometimes she thinks I'm stupid. So we'll see which one it is on this story here, right?
Yeah.
So my dad referees the Rose Bowl. This is about 1990, whatever. It's Wisconsin, the first time they ever played in the Rose Bowl. I can't even remember who they played that night. No, they played UCLA because it was J.J. Stokes. And the Grand Marshal was William Shatner, okay? So it was that 1996, something like that. Yeah. So we're in Pasadena, California. I had never been to California. And so at OSU back then, our stadium's bigger now, but it's still, it's like a block walk. I park for free, and I'm in Boone Pickens Stadium 11 minutes later, and I park for free, right? So we get to the Rose Bowl, and I never even think to even look at what lot I'm in, right? And this lot 1 is obviously somebody that goes to Dodger Stadium, probably the Rose Bowl lot with Doyers for life, because they specifically mentioned what lot they're in. I never even look at what lot I'm in because I've never even thought about looking at my lot, what lot I was in, parking at any sporting event I'd ever been to. And so little did I know, there's 110,000 people there, how many there were, completely packed. So I come out of this game at the end of the game, and I walk out, and there's 110,000 people, and so we got shuttled, okay? So the shuttle bus took us from the hotel to whatever lot we were in. And of course they said, hey, we'll be in lot whatever after the game. I didn't listen to that because I didn't even know what the hell that meant. I was like, well, it's a freaking bus. OSU has one bus that runs from the different parking lots of the game. So I come out, and there's like a mile long worth of like 45 buses. And I'm like, I don't even remember which bus number I was. I don't remember what lot number I was. I was like, damn, man, I screwed this up. And so I stopped to buy something. I look up, and the entire group that I'm with is gone, right? And I'm like, okay, well, it's like about 8 o'clock in California. I don't know where the hell I'm at. I don't know where my bus is at. So I believe from where we stayed right off of Colorado Street, it's right at 7 miles from our hotel. And so I literally had to walk from the Rose Bowl all the way back to my hotel. And when I got back to the hotel that night, I walked into the lobby at the exact same time that the rest of the crew walked in the lobby as well, that actually caught the shuttle bus on the way back. That was how bad traffic was. That is my lot 1 story right there, Doyer for life. How about that? An old country boy from Oklahoma had no freaking clue what he was getting into on that one.
So do you pay attention to lot numbers now, Case?
I would if I went back, no doubt about that.
Yeah. No, that is that's a hilarious story. But yeah. I'm sure if you're stuck in the parking lot for the Dodgers, even still right now with all the craziness that's happening, feel a little bit better now that the Dodgers are moving on.
Okay, I'm with Al Minerva. I could care less who's next, but I will say Milwaukee does a lot of things that are kryptonic for the Dodgers, lots of kryptonite type of stuff. And then also, correct me if I'm wrong, but if it's the Cubs, the Dodgers will have home field advantage, correct?
Yes, the Dodgers, if it is the Chicago Cubs, will have home field advantage. If it is the Brewers, then Game 1 will be in Milwaukee on Monday.
So don't we root for the Cubs?
It is dependent. Either way, it's going to be it's going to be competitive games. Either way, the Dodgers obviously lost all 6 games to the Milwaukee Brewers this season, so there's a very good argument that you look at the past track record, and especially with all the little things that the Brewers have and continue to do well. Then you go ahead and make a root for the Chicago Cubs. I'm kind of indifferent as far as who the Dodgers are actually going to play, because I think both teams have strengths and weaknesses attached to them. I don't really see. I think the Dodgers are going to be up for the challenge either way.
Austin, you got about another 10 minutes. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, good. I just dropped the link. If you want to come join the show, it'll be audio only tonight. So if you want to come join the show, come join the show right now. It'll be audio only. You can come ask Austin or me a question. We have somebody right now that's coming into the show. Bruce Davis. Bruce, what's up, my man? What do you got to say?
What's up, Austin? Hey, Casey. So we have a power outage out for like 3 hours. So
Lord,
I found out, whatever. So we had to go. And I found out when I got here that we had won. I heard from you, Casey. I was listening when I got here into town. But I was on a boat and my internet just went wacko. But you brought up some points that people, will forget because we won. But the Sheehan thing, okay? He went back out there and he threw his strikes. He got the guys out that need to get out. Okay. Was I pissed? I was a little pissed, but it happened. I don't think Sheehan will do that again, but it happens. It happens to the best of them, and
it's a physical mistake with a guy busting his ass. You don't stay mad at that guy, right? Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I was disappointed, Casey.
Yeah.
But again, like he got us to the next inning. All right. We didn't have anybody else out there to keep going with. We went with what we had. Again, we have the pitchers that we have. We have the way that it's supposed to be. Okay.
Right.
We're using our starters and we're using some of the guys from the bullpen that we trust. Okay. But I just want to say, like, I don't think that Sheehan, he messed up, whatever. But Sheehan is going to be a big part of this team going down the stretch.
Yeah,
if we want to win a World Series, we need Sheehan. We need him, and we need him to make the plays that needs to be, because it could have turned around, like you said, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Yep.
No doubt.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You're going to, especially as the Dodgers move forward and as you get to longer series, in which case you're going to have to utilize more of your bullpen more often. You're going to have to rely on more of these guys, and it's going to take a 12 or 13 man staff. However, the Dodgers are going to set up their roster pitching wise for this upcoming series. It's going to take the entirety of the staff to go out there and execute. And even when it's something where they give up the runs, it's about limiting the damage, which I think was something that got away from the Dodgers a little bit during those 8th innings of the Red Series, as you started to see things start to catapult a little bit and you started to see runs piling up. Now, luckily enough for that series, the Dodgers had a big enough advantage where it ultimately didn't cost the Dodgers, but you started to see things really start to catapult. And with what Emmett was able to do today is even though he did make that mistake, he did end up giving up the run. He gave up the double to Castellanos. He was able to limit the damage with what he was able to do. And if you combine limited damage with the pure effectiveness that the Dodgers have and likely are going to continue to get from their starting rotation, when you have an Emmett Sheehan, when you have a Shohei Ohtani, when you have Blake Snell, when you have a Yoshi Yamamoto, who I think is going to be better this next time, when you have a Tyler Glass now, all of those guys, I think it's the Dodgers' expectation are going to be really good. Then it's about limiting the damage, and with the talent that the Dodgers have on offense, that should be enough to go out there and win series, which is the ultimate goal of what you need to do in postseason ball. Limit the damage of what you have and go out there and win series. And I think this was a big step for Emmett, who earlier in the postseason, remember, did not limit the damage and was not able to get out of the inning. He made a little bit of a step. Hopefully this is helping build some confidence for him going forward.
All right, Bruce, appreciate you, brother.
Thank you. Hey, Casey, just one last thing for you guys. Coach Casey, what as the manager, do we use 4 pitchers now? Are we going to be using 4 or 3?
In the
seven. Are we going to go with our regular 4 guys?
Well, yeah. Emmett Sheehan's out. Emmett Sheehan's a reliever, no doubt, and then that leaves you with Glass now. So I would say wait and see. I mean, because you need people in the bullpen. I think if you win a cup, if you need a guy, if you're trying to close a series out, I think you throw your whatever starter you have available. Just do exactly like the Phillies did tonight. So I don't think you can answer that right now. I think that's a wait and see.
Thank you, guys.
Right. Appreciate you, Bruce. Okay, I've got a new link, and if you come into the show, That I have not figured out that scene yet. So if you come to the show, I actually started a different meeting, and that way it won't scrunch Austin and I. So somebody else come to the show, and I want to actually see if that works. There is the link there, and that's the new link there. So, okay, so we've got just a couple more minutes here. We have had a heck of a show. We have had an awesome crowd tonight. And so, Austin, I'll say this. I said this even when the Dodgers when they were having bad losses. The exciting part of the future for the Dodgers, first of all, you never had to look in the past because you never buried yourself. You never put yourself in a position to where you were in jeopardy of not making the playoffs. Not only were you not in jeopardy not make the playoffs, you were set up perfectly with your pitching in the wild card and then here in the divisional series. And so my main theme for the last month is there is no other team in baseball that controls their destiny more than the Dodgers. I'm going to take you back to the conversation we had about 45 minutes ago. The Dodgers just beat the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies had the home field advantage, and they did it without Freddie Freeman, without Shohei Ohtani, without Andy Pages, without Max Muncy, although he got a big hit tonight, without Will Smith, although he got a big hit tonight, for the most part without Tommy Edman, although he got a big hit tonight. And so that's what I mean when I say the Dodgers have their destiny in their own hands more than anybody else, because if the Dodgers play the way the Dodgers are capable of playing, just like if the Dodgers starting pitchers execute the way that they're capable of executing, it doesn't matter what the other teams do. The Dodgers are going to win. That's what's exciting.
Yep, the Dodgers have as much, and I would argue more talent than any team in the game of baseball right now. And moving forward, the Dodgers do that. And it comes down to being able to execute. And that's the scary part going forward for other teams, is as you get to longer series, as you get to these 7-game series, that leaves more room for the talent teams to be able to rise up. And usually when you get to longer series, the team with the better talent ends up winning those series. And that's a scary thing going forward for the Dodgers, is they have as much talent in as anybody does in the game of baseball. Starting pitching helps you win playoff baseball games, especially when you get good, solid starting pitching. And this Dodgers starting staff is as good as I think we've ever seen the Dodgers, or one of the best that we've ever seen for the Dodgers as series. As you get to these 7-game series, that leaves more room for the talent teams proposition. You combine that with the star power that is not even clicking on all cylinders. And in fact, a lot of them are not really clicking a whole lot at all right now for the Dodgers lineup. All of these is making this an incredibly dangerous team going forward. And the Dodgers are going to have as good, if not the best chance, best odds right now to go ahead and move on to the World Series, potentially win another World Series back-to-back for the Dodgers. But it all starts with going out there and executing during the National League Championship Series.
All right, we got a call from Chuck here. We're going to talk to Chuck, and then we're going to get out of here. Can you not hear me right now, Austin? Let me do this right here. You can hear me right now. Okay. Yeah. So, Chuck, go ahead, man.
Oh, I'm just happy as I can be. You talk about the
Austin,
offense.
can you hear that? No? Okay. All right. Here we go. Go ahead, Chuck.
I said I'm just happy as I can be. We're like that old jalopy. There's only an old 8-cylinder jalopy with about 3 of them running, but we got through and we got to town, and if we can get her all fixed up, we can go in style here, because we're just not running on all cylinders. Our offense, they got to be really frustrated over there that we beat them with our offense. It's amazing. But the pitching, man, it just shows you what pitching means.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
I put in the chat how big a Dodger fan I am. We had friends that we had to pick up for dinner, and we were picking them up, and I made them wait a little over an hour before I pick them up for dinner, because the Dodger game was on. So.
That's funny.
No, I'm just happy, and I'm glad things worked out. I would have went with Glasnow. I would have opened the inning with Glasnow in the 7th, because, one of the things with the bullpen issues we have, if he gets an out or two, if the reliever ends the inning, he doesn't have to face 3 batters. You start taking advantage of that.
Right.
That's really all I have. I'm just happy. I wanted to come on and just I'm relieved too. Happy and relieved.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. So very good. All right, Chuck, I wanted to try that. That didn't work. I'll figure out that for the next meeting. So sorry about that. If you had an echo, Al Minerva, sorry about that, Jay. I tried to figure out something new here. Didn't get it figured out. So Chuck, great job, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, same here. You guys take care.
You have a good evening, man. All right, Austin, final thoughts here, man.
Man, it is obviously when the Dodgers win and move on into series, it's exciting. It's very exciting. This one is a little bit more exciting because of the tough matchup between the Dodgers and the Phillies. And this felt like one of those big heavyweight battles that the Dodgers, if they wanted to go ahead and move on, they had to overcome. The Phillies seemingly for the past couple of years had some of the Dodgers number over there. This season, obviously, they had the Dodgers number during the regular season, but when it mattered most, the Dodgers were able to execute more than the Phillies this week. They went out there, they won. The Dodgers are moving on. It was an incredible battle. Huge shout out to the Phillies for a great battle, but I couldn't be more excited because the Dodgers are 8 wins away from winning back-to-back World Series, and it all starts on Monday in the National League Championship Series against either the Milwaukee Brewers.
That's kind of depressing sounding.
Cubs.
8 wins away. That's like dang. I was like, looks like it'll be 2 or 3, right? 8 sounds like a lot, Austin.
Oh man, eight sounds like a lot, but the Dodgers are still alive, and we're continuing on with playoff baseball. It's not time for off-season talk yet. It is still time for postseason Dodger baseball.
Yeah. Off-season talk is great when it's the off-season. You know, we always kid.
No.
Hey, nothing better than baseball season. Baseball season's great, but so is the off season. But we're not there yet, right?
Oh, no. You would much rather be right now in the midst of talking about postseason talk. This is what it's all about. It's not all about the offseason. It's all about the playoffs. This is everything for the past 12 months that's been building up to this series, to these moments. And the Dodgers went out there and won during this moment. And now they get some more playoff moments to be able to go out there and prove themselves.
What a great crowd we've had tonight, Austin. You must have brought them in because this was the best crowd we've had in a long, long time. We are going to do post-game shows after every game from here on out. We're going to try to do afternoon shows to set some roster talk and all that kind of stuff moving forward. So just be ready for all of our regular afternoon shows, our post-game shows, and all of that because it's all coming your way. We are going to be troopers, and we're going to get her done until – again, like we just said a minute ago, it's off-season. Austin, great to see your face, man.
Casey, it's so great to be able to see you. Talk some Dodgers baseball. Always a pleasure to be able to join on.
Hey, to you wonderful Dodgers dogs, thank you so much. It's always so humbling to see the great support we get here at Dodgers Dogs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network. What a game. What a series. Instant classic. Just like Game 1 last year of the World Series when Freddie Freeman went grand slam. Another crazy one. That was awesome. And also, I'm going to say this as we leave. Austin, I know you'll echo this. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Phillies. I know you don't want to hear this from a Dodgers fan, but keep in mind the Phillies were the AAA affiliates of Oklahoma City when I was a kid. I'm a fan of the Phillies. So I hate to see that they ended like this. I have a lot of empathy for them, and I have a lot of respect. They are just absolutely awesome. Do you want to say anything as we get out of here?
The Phillies are a great organization. They have built a roster and built a core that has gone out there and produced amazing moments. And I hope that they're able to continue to go out there and put another really good competitive club, because when the Phillies are good, that is great for the game of baseball. That's great for the city of Philadelphia, who is some of the best fans going out there and support for them, and for Kirk, who made the play at the end. He is a great pitcher, and he's going to do a lot of great things going forward for the game of baseball. I feel for him as just a person. I feel for him. He's a really good pitcher, and I hope he has a lot of really good moments going forward for the Phillies and for the game of baseball.
Yep. And we'll have that off-season talk after the parade, right, Austin?
You know what, Casey? I'm doing a lot of preparation for that, because we're going to have here at Dodgers Dogs. I'm just going to give you a little bit of a sneak peek and a preview. This is going to be some of the best stuff and some of the most exclusive stuff that you're not going to be able to find anywhere else. And it's going to be visual arguments for certain scenarios, and there's going to be a lot of very good talk that you're going to have. But I'm not ready for that yet. I'm ready for talking more Dodgers playoff baseball.
I thought the umpiring was pretty incredible, too. I thought it was spot on. I thought the umpiring was the strike zones were good. The out safes were good. Even the check swings tonight I thought were good. So I thought it was all good. So until next time, thank you so much to you wonderful Dodgers dogs out there. What an incredible series. I am exhausted. So is Austin. I'm sure all of you guys and gals, you wonderful Dodgers dogs are as well out there, wherever you may be, whether it be lot one or sitting in your comfortable recliner, wherever that may be. So until next time, it's a great day to be a Dodger.